If you want this next year to be your best year yet, you want it to be your year, or you just want to have this new year be a fresh new beginning for you, then this is the video for you. I'm gonna walk you guys through the 5 steps you need to do to have the best year ever. And it's very simple and straightforward, so let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Jillz and I help women step into their power and become their best self, create their dream life. So if that's something you want to do, you should subscribe and stick around. I'm so excited for this next year. I think the end of one year and the beginning of a new one can be such a special time. It can be such a powerful, transformative time if you decide to make it one. And it's okay if you feel like you didn't have that great of a year. It happens, okay? It happens. But it's time to move on from that and let it go and just start working towards the next one. Start preparing for the next one. If you want this next year to be your year, you have to make it your year. And doing these 5 steps before the year even begins is how you set yourself up for that. So step 1, if you've never heard of a life audit, then I'm gonna introduce you to one because trust me, you need a life audit. Everyone needs to be doing a regular life audit to make sure that their life is actually going in the direction that they want. Okay, so basically a life audit, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a thorough assessment and evaluation of your life as it is right now. And you might think like, oh, well, of course I know what's going on in my life. I'm living it, right? But doing a life audit takes it a step deeper and makes it so things kind of become crystal clear. Sometimes we don't actually know what's really going on in our life and what's holding us back until we take a second to kind of put it all down on paper and look at it from an observer's perspective. The purpose of a life audit is to figure out exactly where you're at right now so you can figure out the very best way to move forward. So I created a new workbook to help you guys with this. I'm very excited about it. It's called the Life Audit Workbook. So this workbook is exactly what I do every 6 months to a year to really evaluate my life and figure out how best to move forward. Now, you do not need to do this exact life audit. You could totally do one on your own, but I wanted to make this for you guys just for those of you who don't want to do it on your own, who want the extra support. This is exactly what I do. It walks you through every single step, and it's always a very powerful exercise for me. So in short, a life audit is an exercise where you look at your life. What's going well? What's not going well? Why is that happening? What have your goals been? How has your progress been towards those goals? Are you even still aligned with those goals? Where are you putting your time and energy? Like really putting your time and energy. What have your habits been? Just kind of dissecting your life, all of it. So you can either create your own life audit or do this one, but regardless, doing a life audit is an essential step in making sure that you have an amazing next year. I actually just did my own life audit a few months ago in the summer because I was kind of feeling a little bit like stuck and stagnant, and it's always helpful. It highlighted certain areas where I'm giving too much of my time and energy. It highlighted certain areas that I needed to delegate and kind of invest in myself. And then when I made those changes, I felt a whole lot happier and more aligned and more energized and all of that. I felt like my life kind of realigned more in the direction that I want it to go. And that's always a good feeling. So yeah, you can do a life audit anytime. It doesn't have to be before a new year. In my life audit, the one that I do and the one that's in this workbook, it does involve really taking a deep dive at your time and energy because as I always say, time and energy are 2 of our most valuable resources, and it is not unlimited. We have to be ruthless with our time and energy and make sure that we're actually putting it to the right things. So there is some thorough time tracking that's involved in this life audit, just to be clear. So you can purchase the Life Audit Workbook on my website. I'll put the link for that down below in the description if you want to check it out. It is an instant digital download, so you'll get it right away and you can use it as many times as you want. So if you want to use it again in 6 months, you totally can. But again, I do have more information about it on my website, so if you want to, you can go check it out in the link below. The first step in preparing for an amazing new year is doing a thorough assessment of where your life is at right now. It's hard to know how to get to where you want to go if you don't actually really know where you're starting, or if you aren't crystal clear on what's holding you back. Even if you don't do my specific life audit, that is totally okay, but do a life audit. And don't judge yourself or compare yourself to other people when you're doing this. That's not the intention. It's not meant to keep you stuck in the past or feeling bad about yourself. It's meant to propel you forward. It's about gaining clarity so you can work smarter, not harder. And this is a self-reflection exercise for you and only you. Nobody else has to see it. Now, once you've done a thorough life audit, the second step is to create a vision board to start setting yourself up for the future. I know some people love vision boards and some people may think that they're silly, but vision boards can be so powerful when you do them with the right intention and when you actually believe in them. I've noticed with myself just doing vision boards over the past several years that if I put something on my vision board, I am much more likely to get it. Like if it goes on my vision board, there is a 99% chance that I will eventually have that thing. Whereas if I don't put it on my vision board, it kind of tends to slip away a little bit. I'm a little bit less likely to get it. Vision boards are basically a visual representation of what you want to create and manifest in your life. It's basically just a collage of images, but that are very meaningful to you. And they're meant to serve as a regular reminder of what you want and where you're trying to go. I actually have an older video of mine all about how I make my vision boards. I've been doing them the exact same way every single year, so it hasn't changed. In that video, I walk through like how I make my vision board on my computer because I do mine digitally, how I find the images, how I personalize my images to make them more meaningful, and how I put it together, all of that kind of stuff. So definitely go watch that if you want some guidance around making a vision board. I'll link that below too. I make a vision board every year in December and it's like one of my favorite things. I make it super special. I make it a moment. I light a candle, put on good music, and like the Christmas tree is up, and oh my goodness, I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And that's when I dream and get clear on what I want to create for myself. And if you've done the life audit, then you'll feel much more prepared and ready to get clear on your goals and what you want to manifest. Now for me, I don't really put timelines on my manifestations and my vision boards. So like I create a new vision board every December no matter what, but that doesn't mean that I have to cross everything off that vision board that following year. There's usually a few things on there that I'm like, okay, I really want to manifest this for myself, create this for myself this next year. But then there's usually also a lot of other things that are more kind of just like, I want this in my life sometime over the next few years, and I'm kind of just gonna trust divine timing. Sometimes when there's too many like timelines and restrictions on what I want to manifest, it just kind of feels a little bit suffocating and stressful, and I don't like that. And so I also think that makes the vision board process a little bit happier and less stressful because it's not like you're making a checklist for this next year. Don't underestimate the power of a vision board. And also don't wait until January to do this. You really should do this before the year begins. Like maybe around the holidays or so, but before the year begins, definitely. I personally, you'll see in my vision board video, if you watch it, I print mine out and put it in a frame and everything. You know, I'm a little bougie like that. And I print it from this online company and it takes about like a week to arrive at my house. So I always make sure that my vision board is done by like December 15th-ish so that it can be here and in its frame and all pretty and ready for me to look at by the beginning of a new year. The third step, number 3, is to get everything ready before the year begins and reduce the friction. And let me explain what I mean by this. James Clear talks about this concept in his book, Atomic Habits, which is a good book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I'll link it down below in case you want to check it out. But he talks about the power in reducing the friction in your environment. So what does reducing the friction mean? For example, if someone wants to start running every morning, tiny ways that they can reduce the friction is by leaving their running shoes right next to their bed, so it's already there. Maybe it's leaving their running clothes out too on the dresser, so it's already there. It's having a fun playlist that you love already ready on your phone to be played, and having your headphones ready to go. Maybe you've got a big jug of water by your bed on the nightstand already, so first thing, right when you wake up, you could drink a bunch of water and be ready to go. These are tiny, simple ways that you can reduce the friction that you feel when going for that run. When you wake up early and inevitably want to keep just lying in bed, those tiny little things that you did, like have your running shoes out, your running clothes already out, those little things make it easier. Those little things reduce the friction. So that is what reducing the friction means, but instead you're going to apply this to your year and all the goals that you have for yourself. How can you reduce the friction in whatever action you will need to take to make it easier? If you take time to do this, I can pretty much guarantee that you will have a better start to the year. So I'm gonna give you a bunch of examples here. So let's say your biggest goal for the year is to get really fit and healthy and like go to the gym 4 times a week. Then before the year even starts, before January hits, join the gym. Get the membership all set up and ready to go. Know how to use the little pass thing to get in. Go to that gym and maybe just walk on the treadmill for like 10 or 20 minutes so you can get a lay of the land. You can figure out where all the equipment is, what you're gonna use. Take a look at the class schedule. Figure out what classes you're gonna go to, what time they're at. Go in the locker room, figure out how to use the locker. Maybe even buy yourself a new gym outfit or two. But make it so when that new year comes around, you feel so ready and prepared to take that action. You're already familiar with it. You already know what machines you're gonna use. You've already gotten comfortable there and you're ready. And it feels so good and so much easier to make a change when you feel prepared and ready and organized. And now that you've done all that before the year even starts, you have at least slightly reduced the friction in taking that action of going to the gym 4 times a week. You're already signed up. You're already a member. You already know what it's like there. You already feel comfortable there. It's easier for you. Or if one of your goals is to read every night before bed, don't wait until January to figure that out. Go to a bookstore now. Go make your Amazon list now. Get like 2 or 3 books before the year even begins. Have them on your nightstand ready to go so that when you fully decide to commit to that new habit, it's already there. You don't have to put in any work. Reducing the friction. Or if one of your goals is to eat healthier and cook at home more, before the year even starts, you're going to clean out your fridge, probably even your pantry. It probably needs it too. You're gonna make sure that you have all the right kitchen utensils and supplies that you need. You're gonna make sure you have your cooking oils and seasonings and spices, whatever ones that you wanna cook with. Maybe do some recipe research so you have a bunch of good, easy, healthy recipes saved already, ready to go. Maybe you'll even have some like little reusable grocery bags and have them ready in the car. Whatever you can do, whatever little tiny things that you can do to get prepared, to get ready and reduce the friction. Whatever your goals are, before the year even starts, take a little bit of time to plan and get organized and do whatever you can to reduce the friction so that when the new year does roll around, you're ready and it's easy. Trust me, a little bit of preparation goes a very long way. Now, moving on to the next step, number 4. Before the new year, I highly recommend, especially if you want to go into this next year really strong, to take a breather and a break. It's like, for example, if you want to have a really good day, we all know that we need to get a really good night's sleep the night before. And it's the same for your year. If you want to have a really good year, before the year even begins, give yourself some time to decompress and just relax and do nothing. Hang out, be with friends, watch some holiday movies, make some Christmas cookies. We are not meant to just be go, go, go all the time. It's entirely unnatural. Just like there are seasons on planet Earth, we have seasons too. We have seasons of growth and action, and we also have seasons of rest and stillness. And if you try to make your whole life one long season of action, eventually your body will force you to rest, and usually in ways that we don't like getting really sick. If you want to have a really good start to the new year and feel really energized and ready to go, then pushing and pushing until the very end of the year is not the move. You're going to start off the year feeling exhausted, and you're likely not going to do a very good job at moving forward on your goals. And then you're just going to be hard on yourself because you feel like you're not doing a good enough job and that you're off on the wrong foot. Just take the time that you need before the year begins to just chill. I usually do this for like 1 to 2 weeks around Christmas usually, but always sometime in December I take a little bit of time off. Like last year, I think I took maybe like a week and a half where I just kind of did nothing, like literally nothing. I slept a bunch, I watched a bunch of movies, I played Mario Kart and Mario Party on my Nintendo Switch, I baked some things, and that was kind of it. Like I just did nothing and it was wonderful. And you know what? I felt amazing after and so energized and so ready to start going after my goals. If I didn't give myself that little break, I wouldn't have had that same type of energy and motivation. So wind down before you wind up. Give yourself a scheduled break. It's easier to do this around the holidays in my opinion, but could be whenever. And just take time to rest, slow down, get more sleep, be with people you love, watch the Great British Bake Off, take time to do absolutely nothing. That small season of stillness is actually what's gonna set things in motion for the next year. So now that you have done the life audit, you've made the vision board, you have reduced the friction in your environment to better accommodate your new goals and new habits. And now that you've also taken some time to rest, step number 5 is to get excited. I think it's really important if you wanna have your best year yet to actually really look forward to the new year and be positive and optimistic about it. Believe with full certainty that this year is going to be your year, because it just is. Believe that what you want is happening for you. The new year can be such a transformative period. It can be a fresh start for us, a new beginning to shift our identity, a new timeline that we can jump into, if we decide that it gets to be. And when we get excited, when we are optimistic and enthusiastic and looking forward to something, that completely changes the way that we experience life. Our brain will release endorphins, and those good thoughts and that good energy will reduce the feelings of stress and anxiety that we feel. Think about it. What feels better to you? January 1st is just another day. There's like really nothing special about it. Or January 1st is the start of a fresh beginning, a clean slate, new opportunities. The second one feels much better. January 1st is totally just another day. There really is nothing special about it. It's only special because we decided to make it special. We perceive it as special. If you decide to make this new year special, if you decide that the new year can be a magical new beginning for you, then it more likely will be. If you decide that the new year is just totally another day, then it more likely will be. All I'm saying is that we decide how to see the world and how to see our life, and it massively impacts the reality that we create for ourselves. It is so much easier to leave things behind if we decide that a new year is a new beginning for us. It is so much easier to take on new challenges if we believe that a new year is a new opportunity for us. It's like, for example, if you want to completely reinvent yourself, you can do that at any time, right? But if you also did it at the same time that you're moving to a new place where you know nobody, it becomes a whole lot easier because we view it, we see it as this fresh start. You don't feel as tied to who you were, and so it's easier to release your old self. A new year can be the exact same thing, if you decide to see it like that, if you choose to be excited and optimistic about it. Now, I hope all of this helped you feel a little bit more excited and optimistic about the new year coming, and a little bit more confident in how to make this your best year yet. Just a reminder that you can purchase the Life Audit Workbook on my website. The link for that is down below in the description box, and I really do hope that you guys find it helpful. Now, if you haven't seen that vision board video that I talked about, it's right here. Definitely go watch it, or save it to watch it later or something, but this will walk you through everything that you need to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and staying until the very end. I love you guys, and I will see you over there, or I will just see you next time in my next video. Bye.